Hello friends, happy Thursday to you. Let's hope the third time is a charm with this video. Golly, I guess I'm out of practice. I had messaged everyone that I thought might call and interrupt the video. Of course, the one person I did not call uh, ended up calling halfway through my video and cut it off. I don't have a pause with this phone, and so when I'm in the middle of making a video, if someone calls, it cuts it off. Anyway, let's try again. This is my Lanny sculpt by Olga Auer. He was done by Alexa Calvo. I absolutely adore this little fellow. Look at him. Is he not the cutest thing? Just the sweetest boy. Gosh, I missed my dolls while I was on vacation, friends. I have got to get back into my habit and into my groove, get back on a schedule with making videos. And I have wanted to come on for days and talk to you all and tell you that I missed you and that I've got lots of catching up to do. So bear with me while I do that. But we've had a couple of things going on here that I've been taking care of, as well as unpacking and getting the house back in order and getting everything clean since we've gotten home, and different things going on. But anyway, I'm back, I'm home, and I wanted to come on and share this sweet boy with you and tell you about our trip. I hope that's okay. So, I hope you guys are well. I hope you're staying safe. And I hope you're enjoying your collection, enjoying your babes, and I hope they're bringing you many smiles and lots of happiness during this time. I was chit-chatting with a friend on the Instagram message, the private message thing, and she's just the sweetest friend, and we were messaging each other back and just talking about how this is our happy place, and how I was telling her, I wanted to come on and make a video and didn't know how much I wanted to share about the vacation that had been tense or had been difficult, because I had gone with my entire extended family, me and my husband and my 2 children. My sister rents a house every year, and she and her husband and her 5 kids go down. And then my mom and dad normally come from their state. My sister lives in one state with her husband and children. My mom and dad live in another state, and they both still work. And then my husband and I live in another state, and both of my kids are grown. So it's hard for my kids with their work schedules, and my daughter with school. And we were calculating my daughter, as she has grown up, gone through high school and all, when my son reached an age that he did not want to go anymore, which was about 10 years ago, when he was about 17, 18, he decided he didn't want to go on the family vacations anymore. They were boring. And all of my sister's kids were really, really little then. Her oldest one was 7, and she has 5 kids, and they're like little stair-step babies. So, of course, my kids being the oldest and the first 2 grandchildren, I had the oldest kid, so it was a lot. My sister's 5 kids, and they got up early. They were on a very structured, strict schedule, which works great for them and works good when you have small kids. They like knowing what to expect and what comes next. And, this is the time we eat lunch, and this is the time we take a nap, and we will be out on the beach for this hour-and-a-half window. And then after our nap, we will go back out for this hour-and-a-half window. And, everything was very structured and very scheduled. Well, my kids, being teenagers, were very laissez-faire. Vacation was all about sleeping late for them. We always stay at a hotel that has, it's about a mile and a half, 2 miles from my sister's beach house. And, you pull those dark room darkening shades and you dip the air way, way, way down, like refrigerator level, friends. And golly, my kids, I think, would sleep till 1 o'clock if I would let them. Well, by then, you've missed half a day. And I don't see my family but a couple of times a year. I do not want to waste half the day in the hotel room or down at the the continental breakfast bar when I've got my mom and dad who are getting older. I've got, my sister and her kids, and my brother always tries to meet us for 1 or 2 nights for dinner. So anyway, there's always been this thing of My sister's kids were littler, mine were older, so they always had different likes and dislikes and different schedules. But we've always made it work because family is so important to us. But that's not to say, my friends, that it is not without some stress and some struggles, as everyone has in their family. None of us are perfect. We're all just here doing the very best we can, and that may look different for everybody. But anyway, I'm going to tell you about what we did. But this sweet boy, he just takes my breath away. I could not wait to get home, to hold my babies, to be back in my happy place, to have some peace, some quiet. I'm going to put this little Gymboree play outfit on him. I've mostly had him in sleepers, but sometimes you just got to put your baby in something where you can see their feet, their legs. Anyway, I'm putting him in this little onesie and this little teal, aqua blue colored little jumper. So anyway, we drove on Sunday. We took our little dog, who is our pride and joy, took her to the little place that she always goes and stays, and the people are wonderful there, and they spoil her rotten. So we did that. We took her to her little place she goes, her little resort, pet resort, and then we hit the road Sunday morning, and it took about 13 hours between traffic, gas stops and food stops, and we literally would run through a drive-through, get something that we could eat in the car, and keep moving. I drove the entire way down. We literally only stopped for drive-throughs and for restroom breaks, and we tried to keep those to a minimal. And it still took 13 hours or so. There was lots of construction. Oh, what a mess. And even if they weren't working on the roads because it was Sunday, they had the cones and the signs and the flags up. And, excuse me, they had the, road sectioned off so that even though they weren't there working on it, they had it sectioned off so that everything still came down to one lane and traffic still slowed tremendously. And, you still had to, everybody still had to get in line, come down from, 2, 3 lanes to one. So that is very time consuming and was very, very difficult, but we got there. Praise the Lord. Got there in one step and one piece. I was trying to say, not one step, one piece. One fun thing we did decide to do, one of the bathroom breaks that we were getting ready to make when we got to Durham, North Carolina, the Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill area. We used to live there before we moved here in 1999. And that's a couple of hours away from where my parents live and where I grew up. So oh my gosh, it was so neat. We stopped to use the bathroom almost at the exit we used to live at. And I said to my husband, oh my gosh, wouldn't it be neat to ride by our old house? That was our first house together as a married couple. And just to ride by there and see it, see how it's changed. It was a brand new neighborhood back then. Just to see all the changes, to see the trees were big and mature. So much had changed in that neighborhood. It looked so incredibly different. I hardly recognized it. But we told the kids the story of, our first house and how we had fenced in that yard and the first little dog we had. And they were just chomping at the bit to ride by there and see it and see what it looked like. And, of course, my son remembered it. My daughter had never been to that home. So I told her how we had prayed for her and waited for her and worked with the adoption agency, and that the packet of information came to that house through FedEx, and we accepted her paperwork and were approved for her adoption at that home. I remember running out in the cul-de-sac. The FedEx man brought us the papers, and I tore it open there in the driveway. And I was so hopeful that she would come home while we lived there, that before we moved away, that I put a nursery. That was a little 3-bedroom house. My son had one room. Of course, we had the master bedroom, the tiniest room of all. My grandmother was still living, and I put together a nursery there for her, although she never came home while we lived there. And she, you know, she never saw that house. But my grandmother made all the things for that nursery. She made the crib bedding. She made the curtains for that room. She made the rocking chair pad and cover. And it was just such a special home to us. So we rode by there. Of course, I'm telling this story. All four of us are crying in the car. We're all sobbing. By the time we get to the cul-de-sac, we get out and take a picture of it. And guys, oh my gosh, the memories that came flooding. So we got back on the road. I'm sorry. Let me get some water. I'm so sorry. Lord, I'm a mess. I'm so sorry. Hot mess express, guys. I'm sorry. Blame it on the hormones. Blame it on menopause. I don't care what you blame it on. But mercy. Okay, we got back on the road. God, Elijah's looking at me like, good gracious. Get yourself together, Mom. Yeah, right. Mercy, guys. Oh, I'm so sorry. Anyway, so we got back on the road. We got to our hotel at bedtime, and we went to the grocery store, got a few things we would need just for the room, snacks, bottled water, some new sunscreens and different things, and got some groceries and got settled in. We slept that night. Of course, got up Monday, had our breakfast in the little continental area, and could not wait to get over to my sister's. Hugged all the kids. The kids always look like they've grown a foot. If you guys follow my channel or remember, I had all of my family here back in November of 2019. They were here for Thanksgiving, and I had everyone and fed them all. So I had not seen any of them since Thanksgiving. So it was great hugging everybody, loving on everyone. And we had taken 2 huge boxes, 25-pound boxes of peaches from the peach truck. We absolutely adore the peach truck, absolutely love their fresh peaches, and we had taken 2 big cases of peaches, and I bought my mom and sister a cookbook from the peach truck. So we were talking about all the things we wanted to make that week with our peaches, and of course everybody's just eating peaches the whole week. They're a great snack. They were so ripe and so juicy. And I always try and take my parents a little something. My dad loves honey, and he loves all natural supplements. So I took him a couple of my favorite, and gave my sister a cookbook, gave my mom a cookbook, and just loving on the kids and going out to the beach and getting lots of sun. And then at night, we would go back to our hotel room, get showered, get cleaned up, and then come back to the beach house, and we would all cook together. Now, me and my mom and sister love to cook. We love it. So we would plan this great menu. Oh, we would joke about how many times we would go to the farmer's market or to the grocery store. And of course, they have all of these big chains there. But our favorite little grocery store is Robert's. And they have the best homemade key lime pie and the best chicken salad and pimento cheese. Of course, all homemade in their deli there. And so we would get that. And so Monday night, my dad and my brother-in-law had been to the seafood market and had bought a bunch of fresh fish and scallops and shrimp and soft shell crab. And guys, oh, the pictures I have taken of all of the seafood. And we ate, my mom made her homemade coleslaw recipe, and my brother-in-law had brought, he bought some sweet corn, fresh sweet corn. So he made this tomato, sweet corn, red onion, cilantro, almost like a Mexican fresh corn salad. It was delicious. We just ate till we could pop. Literally just literally sat there and gorged ourselves. It was amazing. Ate and ate and ate and talked about all the things that we've enjoyed doing this summer, the different recipes that we've made or different things we've enjoyed cooking and doing. So we went back to our room, you know, bedtime, and then Tuesday did it all over again, except Tuesday was picture day. That was the day that my sister had scheduled the professional photographer. And so we knew that our time would be a little more limited that day, because what we like to do is get up and eat and then head over to my sister's. And we like to be out on the beach for the whole day, like until about 5 o'clock. And then we like to come in, get cleaned up, and, figure out our dinner plan. But we knew with the photographer coming that we would have to do our dinner plan and figure things out earlier, because with so many of us, having to go get showers, do our hair, do our makeup, because we didn't wear makeup or worry about our hair the whole week. But on that day, we wanted to make sure that we were picture ready. So we went to my sister's house on Tuesday after eating breakfast and made our plan, not to be out on the beach for the whole day, to come in around 2 or 3. And so we could, have plenty of time to get ready. My daughter has a friend from here in Tennessee that had moved to North Carolina because of her boyfriend, who was in the Marines. And they recently married. And so my daughter's friend came and met with them. My daughter met her friends and told them where we were at on the beach, and they came and laid out and visited. And my daughter loved having someone there, that was her age. And so they really enjoyed being together. They got some great pictures and enjoyed getting caught up. And I was in charge of dinner that night for my parents' anniversary party. And my sister and I had gone back and forth on, do we do some big, elaborate, fancy meal, or do we keep it simple? We didn't have time to cook, because with this many people in the beach house, it is a huge production for cooking and for all these people, and then clean up. And then, like I said, we had to get back to get cleaned up for the pictures. So we decided we would do something simple and easy that everyone liked, and that would be fast cleanup. And a lot of the restaurants weren't even taking parties as big as ours because of COVID-19. So that was another thing we had to consider. So what we did was we ordered pizza, lots of different pizzas, varieties of pizzas, so that everyone could have their favorite. And we made 2 huge salads, a great big salad with all the veggies on it, like a house salad, and made several different homemade dressings. And then we did a great big Caesar salad. And for dessert, of course, I had picked up the 50th anniversary cake that I had made there, and a little small cake that my mom and dad could cut into, kind of like the top of a wedding cake. And so that, after we went and got our pictures done, we ate first, then we went and got our pictures done, and then we came back, and my sister and I made my parents wait outside on the screened-in porch. They were out there with the grandkids swinging and talking. And my sister and I decorated the inside of the table at the beach house with tablecloth and white rose petals and candles. And we did balloons and bows, and we put out the special plates and napkins and took a ton of pictures. And we bought the little champagne glasses and did a sparkling white grape juice toast. So it was so precious, guys, and so sweet. We said a special prayer for them, and it was just great family time, having all 3 of their grown children together with their significant others, spouses, and all of the grandchildren. It just, I seriously do not know when that will happen again, because of our schedules and because of where we all live. And then Wednesday was another beach day. It was great. The boys had rented some kayaks and canoes, and we got some paddle boards and just enjoyed the day. It was a little break up from, the constant beach and sand and full days in the sun out on the beach. That was fun. And the boys also had their fishing poles down there and rod and reels, so they enjoyed doing that. And this is the day, oh Lord, this is the day that my son started not feeling well. And he had had some fever and chills and horrific headache. And we didn't know if he had gotten food poisoning. Literally, he went from being completely okay, life of the party, fun, happy, all, just wonderful. He was great, to literally being sick as a dog. He had been sick that whole Tuesday night, he said, in his hotel room. And, excuse me while I get some water. Tuesday night, he said that he had sweated the whole night, and literally, like he said, his bed sheets were soaking wet where he had been sweating out, I guess, this fever. So he looked like he felt horrible. I mean, he can be a bit dramatic, like his mother. And so we have to be careful with that, because sometimes he can be dramatic. Well, this was not one of those times. You could clearly look at him and tell he felt horrible. So we really didn't know what to do. And with COVID-19 going on, we didn't want to take any chances and take him to the hospital where there was a possibility he could pick up something worse. But we also didn't want to, leave him in this much pain and sickness when clearly there was something wrong. So my husband said, can we take him to like an urgent care? Well, here we are in a different state. We don't know where a hospital is in this area. You're trying to find one on Google or on your maps on your phone. And guys, oh my goodness. So we find an urgent care thinking this is the less of the two evils. And he's like, Mom, just drop me off at the urgent care. I will get an Uber back to the hotel when I'm done here. And I'll rest, and then you guys go on with the rest of your day, and just leave me here to rest. I just want to be left in the dark hotel room. I've got some ginger ale in my room. I'll do some Tylenol or Advil. I don't want to ruin y'all's day. And I kept telling him, son, you aren't ruining our day. We want to figure out what's wrong, and we don't want to just leave you here, because we had one car. We had talked about driving two, but we didn't. We drove one. So anyway, we took him to the urgent care, and he insisted that we drop him off. And so 5 minutes later, my daughter's in the back seat texting with him, and he says, they're not keeping me. They're sending me to the ER. Guys, it was crazy. It was so crazy. Lord have mercy. So he ends up at the ER. They figure out what's going on. They figure out what's wrong. It clearly, let me just say this. I'm really, really, really glad we got him there, and that we got him some help and got him some medication, because that could have gone really bad really fast. It was not COVID-19, but he was one sick puppy. Anyway, he got back to the hotel. He took his medicines. He got in the bed. And that night, I had started to get a migraine that day just from all the stress. My sister was back at the beach house. I didn't know this. She had a migraine. So all the kids are out on the kayaks, the canoes, the paddle boards. And we're sitting here going, we are the Hot Mess Express. So that night, the men are like, you know what? We're going to take the kids and we're going to go find a restaurant, because they were a smaller party now. Yeah, my mom wasn't going. I wasn't going. My sister wasn't going. My son didn't want to go. So the people, about half of our party had dropped off to we went from a party of like 14 to a party of about 7. So anyway, they went to a restaurant, got some dinner. They were able to go. It was still an hour and a half wait. And, when they're taking out tables and chairs because of social distancing, and they can't take large parties, it really does affect how many they can have. But anyway, so Thursday was a brand new day, praise the Lord. It was the day that all of the men, my brother-in-law, had rented or had chartered, that's the word I'm looking for, a deep sea fishing expedition for them. And oh my goodness, my dad, my husband, my brother-in-law, they had a blast. And it ended up being, it was in two parts because here again, they can't take all of the people out on one excursion. So they did half of the men and all of the boys in one morning trip. It was like 8 to 12. And then the boat came back, cleaned up, had lunch, reloaded the ship with the second half of the men, the crew, and they went out from 1 to 5. Well, when they got back up to the deck or the piers, what I'm trying to say, they brought all the fish in. They took pictures, they weighed them, they cleaned them, and we had a huge hook and cook. Oh my gosh, guys, have not done that in years. It was delicious. Talk about fresh seafood. It was swimming in the ocean that morning, and it was on our plate that night. So, anyway, I apologize to anyone who's vegan listening to this. Yeah. Anyway, with all of those peaches that I had taken, we had been eating them all week. I had made... On Wednesday, I made a huge, I mean like a gallon size container of peach salsa. So we had eaten and eaten and eaten tons of peaches, and then I made this thing of peach salsa. And I'm sitting there looking at all the peaches we still have left. And it was our goal to eat them all or find a way to cook or use them in recipes all during the week because we were not taking them home with us. So guys, we started looking up recipes after I made the salsa on Wednesday, and everybody loved that. On Thursday, I was like, okay, we're doing our hook and cook. I need to make a dessert. So I pulled up a recipe for a peach blueberry crisp. And back to the grocery store we go for vanilla ice cream. And it was absolutely delicious. I made 2 huge pans of it, and we cleaned every bit. Oh my gosh, guys, I gained weight. I gained weight just from the recipes we sat there and talked about, not to mention the things we ate. Oh my word, oh my word. So then Friday was our last day. It was amazing. The weather was fantastic every single day. The sun was hot. It was amazing. It was beautiful down there. I'm trying to remember, did we even get one single rain shower? Normally there's 1 or 2 days of rain, and I think we may have gotten one shower, and then the sun popped right back out. We didn't have one single rain day the whole week, which was amazing. So Friday was our last day. It was beautiful. We spent the whole day on the beach. We came back in, we got cleaned up, and the men had been to the farmer's market and the grocery store, of course. Oh my gosh, I'm at 28 minutes. I'm wrapping this up, friends, I promise. At the farmer's market and the grocery store, they had gotten all of the things they needed because the kids were begging for Granddaddy's fried chicken. They wanted Granddaddy's fried chicken. My dad is an amazing cook, as well as my mom. And I miss my family so much. It's so hard being spread out over so many states. And we are so far from perfect, guys. Oh my word. We argue, we bicker, we disagree on so many things. But at the end of the day, I love them fiercely. They are my family. They are my people. And I love them. I love them dearly. My dad is an amazing cook. He had brought his deep fryer down, and there was a grill already there. My brother-in-law filled up the gas tank on the grill, and there was also a charcoal grill. And so they had the charcoal grill, the gas grill, and my dad's fryer going. You have no idea the amount of food it takes to feed an 18-year-old boy, a 16-year-old boy, a 14-year-old boy, not 14, he's 13. So there's 18, 16, 13, 10, all of those are boys, and then an 8-year-old girl. I don't know how my sister does it. I really don't know what her grocery bill. It has to be a mortgage payment every month. Anyway, feeding those boys, and they're constantly surfing and bike riding and doing that little skimboard thing. And my sister limits tremendously their TV time, their texting time, their computer game time. Her kids get out there and play. They're in the water, they're in the ocean, they're surfing, they're bike riding, and all of her kids are athletes. So they are very active kids, which breaks down to they require a lot of nourishment. So I'm not kidding. We would get up from one meal, no exaggeration, not even have the kitchen clean, and one or two would be turned around saying, "Hey, Aunt Shannon, Grandma, what are we having for whatever the next meal would be?" If it was lunch we were getting up from, they would say, "What are we having for supper? Are we cooking tonight or are we going out? Are we going to so and so? Are you making that blah, blah, blah?" I mean, it was constant. My mom and I just stand there in amazement. I don't know how my sister does it. But anyway, Friday night, my dad cooked his fried chicken, and we grilled some for the people who wanted grilled chicken. And we'd been to the farmer's market and bought all these fresh veggies. And so we did squash and fresh green beans. And I made homemade peach ice cream in the old-fashioned, the kind that you plug in that has the rock salt and the ice. We had bought one years ago and left it at this beach house. And because of COVID-19, the owners had gone in and had to throw out a lot of stuff, clean out a lot of stuff, and stuff that we had bought and left there over the years was not there anymore. So I went to the grocery and bought a new ice cream maker, and I pray that this one is still there next summer so that we don't have to keep, rebuying those. But we made homemade peach ice cream that night and used the very last of our peaches. So the peach mission was successful. And guys, it was amazing. It was amazing. We got in the car, said our goodbyes. Everybody was crying. Well, my husband wasn't. My dad wasn't. My brother-in-law wasn't. Everybody else was. Everybody else was. My dad was crying. My dad was crying. My brother-in-law wasn't, and my husband wasn't. But everybody else was. And yeah. So there were a couple of really tough moments that happened on the vacation. And, we're far from perfect. Far from perfect. But at the end of the day, they're my family and they're my people. And I love them and wouldn't trade them for anything. So, golly, it was a great week. There were some hard times in our week, but there were more good times, many, many, many more good times, and that is what I'm going to focus on, because what you focus on and what you give your attention to is what grows. And so that was my week, guys. That was my week. I'm at 33 minutes. I'm so sorry. But it was a big week, and it was a lot going on, and a lot happened. And so, yeah, that was it. I hope you guys have had a great week. I hope you are enjoying the rest of your summer, however long or short that may be. Our schools start back here the first week of August. So school starting back will look very, very different for a lot of people this year. So I would love to know what school starting back will look like in your area. Are you going back to school traditionally, but maybe with mask and practicing social distancing as much as you can? Or are your schools not going back? Are they going to be online only? Or what does that look like for you this year? I'd love to hear what your area is doing. So anyway, this sweet boy and I want to say happy Thursday to you. And if you watch this all the way to the end, big, big love. Big love. You guys have a great rest of your day, okay? We'll see you soon. Bye.